everyone, and welcome back to my channel. First of all, shout out to Eddie and Will who actually inspired this video. So you guys are new fibro friends, which is exciting. I love it when you guys reach out to me and ask me questions. You both reached out to me in the past couple weeks and asked my advice on how to get through just really difficult days where you're having trouble getting out of bed and just your pain is just debilitating. And to both of you I said, well, I could give you some really bad advice. And that's sadly something that we really need to do sometimes. I don't know about you guys, but I work in normal times, I work 2 jobs and I need to work both of those jobs in order to pay my bills. It's really difficult for me to call in sick because I'm not getting paid if I call in sick. I'm a private contractor at one of my jobs, and if I call in sick, I'm losing a lot of money that I'm really reliant on. So it's really challenging when you have a chronic illness that keeps you down. So I'm not proud of this, but there have been days where I am doing some really things that probably aren't healthy for my body in order to keep going and in order to survive. And maybe I'll do a video just specifically on like bad advice to get through a day, but we're not gonna talk about that right now. Something that I haven't really touched on yet is just the mental health aspect of things. It is really important to work on your mental health when you have a chronic illness. I was thinking about this question and thinking about just how I actually force myself out of bed on those bad days. And I think it's because I have worked on my mental health so much that I know what I'm capable of, I know what my body's capable of, and I can push myself through some very intense pain in order to get through a day. Fibro fog is a different story, but I can somehow make it through a day with bad fibro fog, and thankfully I have really amazing colleagues who understand and who can help me out. So I'm doing a challenge right now, which is a 5 kilometer a day challenge. I'm walking 5 kilometers a day. I'm on day 14. I told myself, okay, just make it through a week. I made it through a week, and now I'm telling myself just make it through a month, and we'll see where I'm at. But it's painful. Not every day, but some days it's just kind of my normal pain, but some days it's very painful. And my left leg in particular today is not happy. So it was a little trying, but then I think about the things that I've already accomplished. I think about the things that I've done and I go, I can walk 5 kilometers, but it's taken me a long time to get here. For me, my mental health journey started at the same time that my physical journey started. And by that I mean when I started working out, but they don't have to go hand in hand. And if you're not at the point yet where you can start getting active and start even just, taking a small walk every day or every other day or maybe once a week, it is still important to start working on your mental health, because your mental health is going to be there for you when your body feels like it's not. And if you really work on what's going on up here, you're going to be able to push through some very intense pain, and it's going to be surprising to you probably what you're actually able to accomplish. Everyone's mental health journey is a little bit different. For me, it started with personal development reading. Books like You Are a Bad I don't think I'm allowed to swear on YouTube. You Are a Bad ASS is a great book to read. It's very helpful. I really enjoyed The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. That is a phenomenal book. The biggest takeaway for me from that book was just something that's pretty common knowledge, but we don't really ever think about it. And it took him pointing this out for me to really understand. Let's just say that there are 3 different people. The first person doesn't change anything in their lives for a full year and their life stays the same. Okay, great. We can discard that person. The second person eats 1 donut a day and drinks 1 sugary drink a day, and they don't change anything else in their life. And by the end of the year, they've gained 10 to 15 pounds. They're a little bit more sluggish. Their, cardiovascular health isn't as great. It's harder to get active with the kids, whatever, It adds up. Third person changes 1 thing over the year, gives up the sugary drink. Without even realizing it, so many amazing things start happening within your body. If that's the one thing that they did, by the end of that year, they maybe have lost a few pounds because they're not ingesting all of that sugar every day. They have a little bit more energy, So it's interesting. It's literally every single choice that we make is compounded day after day after day. And I love that. I love that thought. I just love that. I found that really invigorating and exciting. And it obviously makes sense, and I think it's a very obvious thing, but a lot of us, myself included, just don't think about these things necessarily unless they're pointed out to us. So that was one of the big takeaways from that, and that's something that I often think about. Is how can I be better today than I was yesterday? What can I do differently? How can I be better at the end of the year? And right now, I mean, I'm recording this still in 2020, coming up to the end of the year. And so it's interesting to just kind of think about our goals and what we can do differently in the new year to help ourselves out. So personal development reading is a great start to helping out your mental health journey. And I can give more examples of great books that you should read. If you want, send me a message, and I'll dig into what I have. Journaling is another thing. Just really getting in touch with your thoughts and just getting them out on paper can be a huge game changer for people. Writing down goals and affirmations can also be a big thing. Doing something that feels simple but is often hard, like writing down 3 things that you're thankful for that day. If you believe in God, you know, waking up and praying, or if you're more spiritual, you know, meditating in the morning. Speaking to a therapist is also a really big thing, and I've had a couple of therapists in my life. If you find the right one, they're absolutely amazing. And I have the right one with me now, and she's incredible. And I'm very, very blessed to have her in my life, and she really helps a lot. For me, it really helps me to watch people do difficult things. So something like the world's toughest race, or any CrossFit competition, someone rowing across the Pacific Ocean. Eddie Izzard ran 27 marathons in 27 days for Nelson Mandela. Kudos to her, like amazing. There's some really incredible things out there that really inspire me to push myself and keep moving forward. I actually have to rein myself in a lot and just remind myself that I do have a disability. I do have this disorder, and I'm not necessarily able to do everything that otherwise healthy people are able to do, but I'm gonna push myself, and I'm gonna work towards doing something awesome. Setting goals and doing things like this has literally kept me alive. I think it's important to work on your mental health. One thing that very few people talk about when we're first diagnosed with fibromyalgia, we're often really depressed right off the bat. We have this unhelpable chronic pain that we're stuck with now for the rest of our lives, and it's like, okay, well, how do we cope with this? You know, our lives look differently. What are we going to do? How do we deal with this? And unless we start working on our mental health, I don't know how we get through it. I try to work on my mental health regularly, and for me that is getting active. For me that is pushing my body and getting active, and things really started to shift when I started running. Running is one of the worst things you can do for fibro pain. It is high impact, it's brutal on your joints, and yet the mental health benefit that I get from it is so great that I run. I run for my mental health, and I haven't really been able to run in a little bit now, but I have goals for 2021, and if I can, I'm going to get back at it, so we'll see. I'm part of a really great group online on Facebook called Outrun the Dark, shout out, and they've been a huge help. I think that being active and just our mental wellness, our mental well-being really can go hand in hand. Taking care of your mental health is self-help. I think it's important to talk about it. I think it's important to end the stigma that mental health is a taboo subject. I'm on antidepressants. They've literally kept me alive. I think there are so many things that just seem to be taboo, and we gotta end the stigma. We gotta open up the conversation, and we just gotta embrace these things and just be like, no, you know what? It's okay to talk about these things. It's okay to talk about mental health and wellness and antidepressants and depression and how difficult something like fibromyalgia is. We have to start talking about these things. It's so important. I hope Java and I have encouraged you today. If you're trying to figure out what avenue is going to help you the most in your mental health journey, I mean, the number one thing you can do is just start journaling and see if that works. And you know what? Maybe you're not journaling every day. Maybe you keep a journal by your bed or in your purse, your wallet, just like a little book, and you just write when you feel that you need to write. Maybe you're like me and you call your friends and you talk to them and you just get stuff off your chest, or you go live on Instagram you make stories on Instagram and get things off your chest. Long walks have been helping. They're really good for me. Getting out into nature for me is a big thing. It really helps with my mental health. You need to find what works the best for you, what helps rejuvenate you, and what helps you just go, yes, this is it, this is the thing. There could be a couple of things too, you know, it's not just one specific thing. I get so much joy out of being on a large body of water, but I get the same amount of joy being on top of a mountain. I can easily walk or drive or transit to a body of water. I mean, I live on Lake Ontario, but it takes a lot more out of me to get to the top of a mountain. But I get so much joy from both. Find what makes your heart sing. Find what gives you mental relief. Sometimes that's a tearful phone call with a loved one, just saying, or a conversation. Doesn't have to be a phone call. I'm just thinking about my own life. Just saying, I'm having a really hard day today. Can you support me? Can you pray for me? Can you hold me up throughout the day and help me move forward? I am never the type of person to push my own thoughts and beliefs from a spiritual perspective on someone else, but I am a Christian. I'm not shy about it. I have respect for all beliefs and all religions, but for me, a big factor and a big thing for me is that when I'm having a hard time getting out of bed, I pray. And I know without a shadow of a doubt that God is going to carry me throughout the day. He's going to lift me up and he's going to carry me. Does that mean that my pain goes away? No, but it helps my mental health. It helps my brain tell my body to move and tell my body to work. I hope that was encouraging for you. And I hope that you're able to find what you need in order to move forward and keep going. We're in this together. I'm always here. Reach out if you need, okay? Make it a great night.